What is up, guys? It is Coded Red here. Welcome to episode 4 of the Advanced Bit Coding for 1.16 series. I had a pretty awesome episode for you today. So if you notice, I'm holding a custom sword right here, a custom texture for a sword, and that's what we'll be coding today. So we're going to learn how to make custom textures in a plugin. So that's when we download a plugin, it has some custom textures to something. So we're going to learn two different things today. We're going to learn how to make a texture for a normal item, so like a diamond sword always looks like this, and we're also going to learn how to make custom items that have a custom texture to it. So you can have a diamond sword with a certain enchantment, and only then will it look like this. Show you guys what I mean. If I go into creative mode, you see that right where the diamond sword should be, it has that texture. It is a diamond sword, just a different texture on it. But we can also go into a crafting table and craft us a custom sword that has the same texture. So this is a gold sword, as you can see by the name. I know it's in pirate mode, but it is a gold sword, just like this one right here. They're both gold swords, but see, this one has the same texture as a normal default Minecraft, but this one's custom. So we're gonna learn how to make it change always and how to make it only change for custom items. This is going to use custom model data, and I believe it came out in 1.14 and above, so you should be good if you're running those versions. So let's get started. Before we can actually learn how to do this, we actually need to know how a texture pack works in Minecraft. So if you know how a texture pack works and you've already coded one before and like created your own resource pack, you can go ahead and skip to the end of the video because the coding for this is very minimum. So most of the video we're talking about how a texture pack works and how we can make our own. So right here, this website will be in the description below. It's MC Assets. It's a great website to see the default assets of Minecraft. So this is where I'm going to teach you guys how a resource pack actually works. We're going to go into the version of 1.16.2, and here is Minecraft folder. If we go into assets, you'll see all the different things here. We're actually go assets, and then we're going to Minecraft. And here is where we can actually get to really customize our Minecraft. We can customize the model of entities, the model of items, blocks, the sounds, the text that you see. This is a resource pack. It has everything you can modify, the font and everything. But what the two things that we're gonna be looking at is models and textures down here at the bottom. So how a Minecraft texture pack works is that, say for our sword, our items, we need to go into models, and we need to go into item because it is a sword, not a block. So we go into item. Now how Minecraft works is it uses this JSON file for items. So we're talking about our sword, our diamond sword. If we scroll down till we find it, our diamond sword has a certain JSON. And this JSON file describes how the sword is shaped. The texture, however, comes from a PNG file. So I'll show you that in a second, but here it is, diamond sword. So if I click on this, it'll open up the JSON file. There's nothing much in here, but it is really nice to have because we're all going to be using this in a few minutes. This is the default JSON file for a diamond sword. So if you go onto your server right now, and you can load on multiple texture packs, as you know, you can have multiple ones on. So if you have the default one on, it's going to read this diamond sword.json. However, if we go into our plugin and we make a custom diamond sword with its own JSON file, it's going to read that one instead of the default one. The default one always has the lowest priority, so ours is going to read it over it, which is really nice. This is how texture packs work. They have a JSON file, which is in the Minecraft models item, and then they also have a texture file. If I go down to Minecraft textures, and then I go into item again, so we're talking about the sword, they're going to have their own PNG file. And this is pretty important because you can't just have a JSON file to show the texture. You also need a PNG file to make it have colors and stuff. Otherwise, it's going to look really distorted and it's probably going to turn out purple. But diamond sword somewhere over here. Oh, there it is. Diamond sword. And there's the PNG file for it. All right. Moving on. I am no artist. I'm a programmer. I'm not very good at Photoshop and all these other tools. I will link some cool tools below that you can create your own textures with, but I went ahead and I just downloaded some textures from Planet Minecraft. So if you want to see the one I download, I'll leave it in the description below, but it's by Mr. Zoom 31. And here is the texture pack. So I went to planetminecraft.com and I downloaded a texture pack. This texture pack only has a sword in it because that's all I wanted. But it's pretty important because we need to go into here. We're not loading it into our Minecraft or nothing. We're going into the folder and we're going into assets and we're doing the same thing we just did. Assets, Minecraft, and then we're going into models and then item. We're gonna grab that diamond sword. So this is the diamond sword that's custom. As you can see, it has a lot more code than the default one because it describes different shapes in here. I'm not really gonna explain what this all does. Like I said, I'm not a texture pack artist. However, I will explain one thing that's pretty important, and that's the texture right here. This is saying texture is hashtag diamond sword. What is that? Go up to textures at the top right here, and you see where they're grabbing that texture from. So we know we need to go into textures, that folder textures, and make sure that it has a diamond sword PNG referring to this JSON file. So it's able to create some colors for our new sword. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up, actually before I do that, let me explain this folder. This is the custom models folder that I created. I'll leave this in the description below as well, because we're going to create our own resource pack. So we're creating our own resource pack here. This doesn't have anything in it. It's just an empty resource pack that just has the models and textures for you guys. One thing I do want to say is whatever you name the folder is what the name of the resource pack. So if I go into my Minecraft right now and we look at what I'm running, you'll see that it's running custom models right here. And that's the name of my folder, custom models. So whatever you name it will be the name in the server. And then another important thing, this pack PNG is the picture of the resource pack. Like you saw, I have my logo right there. And that's the same thing right there. So if you want to change that, feel free to. But once you're inside, go to assets, go to Minecraft, go to models, and then go into item. And this is where we're throwing, oops, sorry, I'm gonna delete that. This is where we're throwing our diamond sword into. So I'm gonna grab my diamond sword from the resource pack that I downloaded and throw it into that JSON file right there. So now if I were to load this resource pack on my server, every single diamond sword will look like that custom one I showed you guys. It'll look like this. However, what about that gold one? Let's go ahead and copy this, paste it, and let's rename this. Let's rename this to be custom, oh God, I can't type, custom sword. Custom sword is not an item in Minecraft. It's not a block, not an item, it's not an entity, it's nothing. So it doesn't replace anything, which is really nice. It's a custom JSON file. And now, since we have this custom JSON file, we're able to create custom items in our code and using the Spigot API, custom items that refer to this JSON file. I know it's not a lot of coding right now. It's kind of just making our own resource pack first. It's a little bit confusing. I hope you guys understand. If you need to, join my Discord server and I'll be happy to answer some more questions. But we have our custom sword, we have our diamond sword. Like I said, we can't just have a JSON file. We also need to have a textures file. So go back into that Minecraft, go to textures and go into items. And in here is where we need to have that diamond sword. So I'm gonna go into the texture pack that I downloaded and go grab that PNG file. Items, there it is. All right. In our resource pack that we created, the one that we want our plugin to use, it should be an empty resource pack with nothing in it except what we want it to have. So we wanted to have a custom sword. We wanted to change the diamond swords to a custom texture. We also want to make sure that we have our textures right there, our PNG file. So we go into our Minecraft textures, items, and there's our PNG file. I'll load it up, but I don't think it's gonna load because it's such a small picture. And there we go, just like that, we're done with our resource pack. So now we can actually get into our IDE and get to actual coding. So I'm gonna load up my IDE. There we go. I already created the project and everything like I usually do. Nothing much in here, just the basic main class. And then I have a plugin.yml with an API version of 1.13. It's not too important, whatever API version you want to use. It is important if you are going to be using like specific blocks to like 1.16 or whatever, but it doesn't matter for me. Also, I do want to say that I'm not really going to make many classes for this because it is such easy code, but I will create a listener class, and this is going to be the join event. And join event. Also, I'm sorry if you hear any sawing. My neighbor is deciding to saw wood at midnight, so that's cool. But once we create that join event, let's go ahead and implement listener. At the top, event handler, poke void on join player join event. All right, once we have our join event, it's literally one line of code to make sure they set that resource pack. And the line of code is event.getPlayer.set resource pack. And there we go. We need to add in this argument. So what is this argument? This is going to be a direct download to your resource pack. So we'll put that in comments. To your texture pack. So how can you do this? There's a few different ways you can do it. You can use Google Drive and put your texture pack on Google Drive and then create a direct download through Google. I'm going to be using Dropbox, so I'm going to go to my Dropbox real quick. All right, so here's my Dropbox account. It's a free account, so if you want to make an account real quick, go ahead and do that. Or you can use Google Drive like I said. But all I'm really going to do is I'm going to grab that folder we created and I'm going to throw it into my Dropbox. And it's going to upload. It might take a little bit to upload, probably a few seconds. Not that big of a file. And there we go. Once you have uploaded that custom models resource pack right here, we can go over to this share button and we can generate a link right here. Once you create that link, copy that link, and let's go back into our IDE. Once you're in the IDE, let me zoom in for y'all. I should do that. Once we're in the IDE, let's delete that, and we need to pass in a string of that link. So you can just go ahead and paste that link in. However, this is not a direct download link. This link will just bring you to the page where you click download. So to make it a direct download link, you have to change this 0 right here to a 1. So make sure at the end you have a 1 there, and that will make it a direct download link for Dropbox. And just like that, when a player joins the server, when they join for the first time ever, they'll get that little message saying, hey, this server uses a custom texture pack, please download it. And if they click yes, then every single time they join a server from now on, that texture pack will load in when they join the server. And then we'll have the custom item. We can go a little more advanced if you guys want in the next video. I feel like I'm going to do a few of these, and we can say if they say no, then kick it from the server and say you have to. We can do stuff like that if you all wanted to. But for this episode, it's just really basic stuff because I haven't done a video on this before. So we're going to go start with the basics and then we'll go more advanced later on. But in our join event, this is all we're going to be doing. We're going to set that resource pack right there. And we could even send a message if you want saying, hey, the resource pack has been set. That's up to y'all. But like I said, this is all I'm going to have in here. Make sure you have that to equal 1. Once you have that link in there, let's go to our main class and register the join event. Or this get server. We register events. Our listener will be a new join event, and then we're passing this. All right. So now if we were to run this plugin on the server, whenever we join it, we press yes, we accept that resource pack, and it will change diamond swords to our custom texture. I'll start it up and we'll test it out. All right, so I just rejoined the server and you notice two things. That diamond swords are indeed changed to our custom texture that we added in, but my gold sword that had a custom texture earlier is now a normal texture. It's because we haven't added in that custom texture yet. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, to do this, we need to go back to add in a custom model to our custom item. We actually need to go back into our resource pack, go into assets, Minecraft, models, item, and go ahead and let's go and copy this. We're not going to use it, but just so we can create a JSON file, let's copy it, paste it. Let's rename this to be golden sword. And let's go into this file and delete everything in here. What we want to put in here is the default golden sword JSON file, and that will be in the description below for you guys to copy and paste it real quick. And this is where the MC Assets website really comes in handy, because I'm going to grab that default golden sword. I'm going to paste it into here. So now we really didn't do anything so far. When our server loads and this golden sword loads, it's not going to do anything unless we add in some condition. All right, so what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna paste it in here for y'all. But like I said, it's gonna be in the description below, but I'm gonna put a comma here. I'm gonna go down a line and I'm gonna paste it in. And what I'm just said here is I made a custom model data. And I'm saying every golden sword is gonna look like a golden sword unless it has a custom model data of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then if it has that, it's gonna look like a diamond sword. What I mean by diamond sword is I mean my actual custom sword. So our diamond sword and custom sword are the same class, but to show you guys, for example, I'll name this custom sword. So now if our item, our golden sword, has a custom model data of that, then it will look like whatever's in our custom sword JSON file. Pretty neat stuff. And to finish coding this, I'm gonna copy this number, even though it's only 1 through 7. And we're gonna go into our IDE again, and let's go ahead and code in a custom item. This custom item is gonna be nothing special. I just coded in a basic sword with a recipe, and it's all in the main class because, like I said, it's nothing special. So let's go ahead and code that real quick. It's gonna be a private, and it's gonna return a shaped recipe. And it's gonna be called get recipe. Go ahead and import shaped recipe. And all we're gonna do in here is create an item stack. And like I said, y'all can go ahead and make it custom. Mine's just gonna be a normal golden sword. Golden sword. And then once you have that item created, let's go ahead and create the item meta. Call that meta item.get item meta. And then in here is where we set that custom data number. So we're going to say meta.set custom model data. And our model ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That just refers to what we have in here in our golden sword JSON file, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this can be whatever y'all want. Obviously 1 through 7 digits, y'all can do whatever you like. But once we have that set, let's make sure we do item.set item meta to meta. And then we can actually create our recipe. For those of you who haven't seen my recipe video, I'll put that in the description below. But to do it, super easy. We'll say name spaced key equals a new name spaced key. Pass in this because we're in our main class, and then pass in a name. This can be whatever you like. I'm gonna name it custom sword. Once we have our namespace key, we need to create our shaped recipe called recipe, and that equals a new shaped recipe. Passed in our key that we just created and our item. Our item that we're passing in is the result for the recipe. After we do that, let's create the shape. So recipe.shape. Like I said, I explained this in my recipe video, but I'll explain it real quick. This is the top row of a crafting table, so it has 3 different lines, 3 different things that we put in here. In the middle, I'm gonna do a space, B space, and B just stands for block, and I'll explain that in a second. But make sure you have 3 different things in here that represent each slot in the crafting table. So this is gonna be empty slot, this is gonna be a B, which stands for golden block, and then this is gonna be empty slot. My second row is gonna be the same thing. And my third row is gonna be the similar thing, but with an R. And then now is where we define what B and R stand for. So set ingredient, and we're setting B equal to material.gold block. Copy that, and we're setting R equal to a blaze rod. This is just my thing I created. Y'all can do whatever you like. Oop, wrong thing. And now we can just say return recipe. Finally, go into the main class, and we need to type in bucket.add recipe, get recipe. All right, so one thing did change. However, if we do run this, nothing really changed with our textures. So we do need to go back into our Dropbox and make sure we update our resource pack with the current one we have. And then if y'all update it, then the link will still work. This link should still work. But however, if you delete it and then re-upload it, then you'll need a new link. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload it to Dropbox real quick, and then we'll run on the server. All right, now back in the server, you'll notice that our custom sword has changed again. And if we go into a workbench and create another one with our recipe, you'll see that it has that custom texture. Now, I really do hope that this video made sense to you guys. I didn't really know how to go about creating it. I didn't know if y'all wanted to me explain resource packs really in depth or not. I think I did well at hitting all the points, but like I said, I'm gonna make more videos on this, so don't worry. I will make plenty of videos explaining more things, how you can do this. If you did like the video, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.